Hello and welcome back to the Pharaoh's Legion. Thank you again for any comments on previous videos. I know we're not too far in, but it's really appreciated and some good feedback. I really enjoy your kind of take on just any previous videos and this one as well. So today we're going to be looking at Krios Battle Tank, but it's not always Krios Battle Tank. Luckily, it has three different variants at the moment. The Venator, the Battle Tank, and the very new Irradiator. I'm having to read that one because it's so new. It wasn't in first edition. It's only recently come out in the Martian Civil War book. And it's a great edition. I think it's a really good edition. I don't know if I should really go into too much detail about a tank that hasn't changed too much in some ways, but it has in others. So I suppose the tank itself, it's fast, not just because it's got fast in the vehicle type, but it's 16-inch move. It has ballistical 4, which I'd expect nothing less from Mechanicum. Front armor of 13, side 12, and obviously rear 10, but we don't talk about that. And 4 hull points. So it's a nice tank. It's a decent tank. I do miss the fact that in first edition it had a flare shield, so it made it nice. 14 front armor. I think that was quite nice, definitely, and especially against the blasts. Then it became 15, but it's still a good tank. I think why I'm not too bothered about the fact that it's lost flare shield this edition is because it's 125 points. So for 125 points, you're getting a nice tank. It has a 6-up, it will not die. I don't think that's ever worked for me in 10 years. But even when I'm playing with my salamanders on a 5-up, feel no pain with 3 rolls, it still doesn't work. I think maybe I did it once. But anyway, so 125 points, pretty good. For this nice fast tank with a different array of weapons. Now obviously the price goes up depending on what you use, but let's say the battle tank, for example. Now the battle tank, for me, it's a good all-rounder. So it has a lightning cannon. So the lightning cannon is a large blast, and it's strength 7, AP 3, so Marines, but it's also rending 4+, so lovely. So it can threaten pretty much anything. With the rending 4+, I think rending 6+, you're thinking, I have to get 6. On a 4+, the 50-50 chance is obviously a lot better and more likely, obviously, from it being a percentage which is higher than a lower percentage. But you understand what I'm saying. Especially when I see a template weapon, I'm immediately thinking, boom, dead. But infantry, I see that is for infantry. But because the Krios is so versatile, if it scatters onto a tank, that tank's also in trouble. So it's not just going to be infantry worried about that blast hitting them. If there's a squadron of tanks, so you're hitting a squadron of predators. I hate squadrons of predators. I just don't like them. It has searchlights, which is nice. You can also add on for hunter killers up to 2. Again, not sure if I bother. It's a nice cheap tank, keep it that way. 2 centerline mounted Volkite calivers at plus 30 points per model. I think on this battle tank, I would say no. I think no on this one because you've got range. You've got the range. I don't think you need anything else really. I would say I wouldn't bother with those. 125 points, you can't go wrong. It's nice, it's fast, and it can threaten everything. So now we're looking at the Krios Venator. So you're paying an extra 25 points, so now it's 150 points for your tank, but you have upgraded for a definite anti-tank role. This is if you definitely want to go for anti-tank. So obviously vehicles I'm talking about, but I'm also talking about dreadnoughts as well. When I have high strength shots, you don't want just one really crazy shot. You do want multiples to make sure that 1, you're going to hit, and 2, you're going to actually hurt the thing you're going for. and I don't want to waste it. If I kill, you know, someone's only brought one dreadnought and I feel like my anti-tank weapon is useless. Not this, because 4 shots, 36-inch range, strength 9, AP2. It is ordnance 4 and pinning. So ordnance 4 obviously great against vehicles because you're rolling 2 dice, picking the highest for penetration. Definitely, obviously from that, it's an anti-tank gun. Anti-vehicle. Pinning, can't pin a vehicle, can't really pin a dreadnought, but you can pin other things. So 36-inch range, you can be shooting into Terminators. Normally, Terminators don't suffer as badly because they have mostly stubborn or inexorable, which means they're not lowering their leadership. That's fine, but 4 las cannons means 4 instant deaths, so save those or die. Again, would I add anything onto this? I think maybe the first round of shooting, would I put 2 hunter killers on? Yeah, okay, I would put extra 200 hunter killers on for that kind of alpha strike, 4 las cannon shots, 2 hunter killer missiles. I think more so if I was going for, well, something, if you wanted something dead, you definitely wanted it dead, that's what you'd go with. Maybe a Land Raider that was full of something you don't want to get to you. You'd want to zip around and get that side armor because you don't want to be going against 15 on the front. And what else would I be shooting? Probably dreadnoughts. Again, 4 shots are good, 6 shots are better. Maybe you kind of knock that thing out completely. Definitely your anti-tank, or as my friends used to call it, the death tractor. Love the look of the Venator. So I think I would always try and get that front carapace bit on, whatever the main gun's going to be. It doesn't matter. That front carapace kind of would be on. How do I feel about the guy in the back? Interesting. I liked the fact that it used to be a Magos. I feel like they've only sent Barry the Servitor out now. So come on, Barry, can you at least hit something? Whereas before you had a Magos and you thought, well, they sent a Tech Priest, it's got to be good. The third and final one is the Krios Irradiator. As you may have thought, it's going to be some kind of, massive cancer gun, which it is. We have lots of nice rad weapons in the Mechanicum. I know there's a couple of Legions have some nice rad weapons as well, but definitely we excel at rad. Not just the, inside, but on the outside too. Okay, so let me talk you through this one. Again, you have your super fast chassis, so you're moving 16. You've only really got 1 weapon, so you can move your full movement and fire your 1 weapon. So, the Irradiation Blaster. So it's got 2 different types. Okay, I like this, it's quite fun. I just think this is a fun one. But I think it can also be fun dangerous, as in you can kill people. I've spoken to a few other Mechanicum players, and I know that they're not too sure, they're not quite convinced about each kind of focused or dispersed version. So the focused version is 16 inches, strength 7, AP 3. So already quite nice. It's similar, well, the same profile so far, to getting shot with a bit of lightning. Again, not blast though. So it's heavy 1, so you can move as fast as you want. You can fire this weapon. It's got Fleshbane. So strength 7, kind of irrelevant. Why is it strength 7 then? Interesting. We'll get to that. I think a couple of things on that one. But Fleshbane, so if you're hitting dreadnoughts and you're hitting anything alive, your Fleshbane, you're wounding it on 2s. So that's already really nice. So a unit of anybody, you're hitting it on 2s, you're, strength 7, quite nice. Radphage, I think, kind of irrelevant. It's just I think that's definitely kind of story driven. It basically brings the toughness down of something that gets wounded, but most things that get wounded die. So we'll see. And at strength 7, it won't matter too much on anything. And with Fleshbane again, unless someone else is going to shoot them later. But that's kind of up to you. Radiation beam. Now this is where it gets weird. So that was it 16 inches. Okay, so 16 inches. That's interesting. So let me say There's a flamer, and there's your 16 inches. This super thin line, so if you go sideways, that's what you're going to be looking at. So this beam, this is anything that gets touched by this, or any model that gets touched by this suffers a hit. Apart from flyers, you can hit flyers with it. I don't want to read out the entire thing, but if anything big kind of blocks it, it takes D3 separate hits rather than one. So if anything like a vehicle or anything with 6 or more wounds, so a vehicle or dreadnought gets hit with this, it takes D3 hits rather than just one, okay? Now that's important because now you hit a tank, again, it's got Fleshbane, no good for tanks. It's got, Radphage, no good for the tank. But it has strength 7. So you will be hitting D3 hits now onto a dreadnought, for example. So you hit that dreadnought 3 times, hopefully, if you're lucky. It's strength 7, so you're wounding on 4s. Well, no, you're not, because dreadnoughts are partially alive. So you will be wounding on 2s because you have Fleshbane. Okay, so you've shot a few people in between, and you've hit the dreadnought, and he's taken 3 wounds that he's going to have to save. Now, you're just forcing saves, it's fine. Because it's part machine as well, he can make you re-roll the wounds. So, re-rolling 2s, I don't care, it's going to be fine. I can roll 2s again. Or 3s, or 4s, or 5s, or 6s, or 7. I think you're going to definitely be forcing saves on things. When it comes to Marines, yes, they're all dead. They're all dead. But now the funny bit, this is the best bit, and I think it is my favourite part of this, and this is just the beam part. I haven't even gotten to the dispersed bit. This is focused. So let's say you're hitting a rhino. So 7, you roll your dice, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. This is to get a penetrating hit, you need to roll a 5, okay? D3, like glances, would, wreck the vehicle. But you want to get that you just want to get 1 penetrating hit so you can do the next part. So if any vehicle with transport gets a penetrating hit from this, each unit suffers D6 strength 2 AP nothing hits with Fleshbane. So then you're basically doing D6, roll a D6. Oh look, I got a 6. I know, best case scenario, but let's say fine, you got a 3. You're rolling 3 dice, you're winning them on 2s, then they have to save again. I think it's just quite nice, because it shows that you've cracked the hull. You kind of get the radiation inside, and they're starting to be like, oh, what the hell was that? Yeah, they're dying. So I think it's an interesting one. To be fair, I don't know if I'd use that one as much as I like the second one. So the second one's dispersed. Now, this one is strength 2 because it's it's a template weapon. Heavy 1, Fleshbane and Radphage. So you won't be going after anything really multi-wounded. I think you're going to be going after large units and anything trying to hide. Now, this is a regular flamer. And this is what you use in your, it's your Hellstorm flamer template. So this is what your Irradiator is going to be flaming out. It's going to be just like covering everyone. How many hits do you get from this when you get flamed? Well, obviously as many are under there. But let's say, for example, I'm returning fire. Can you return fire with a flame weapon? Hellstorm cannons reacting, again, they have Wall of Death. They are D6 hits, so you'll get D6 hits for anything coming at you. The Krios, as a chassis, with all the different weapon options, I think it's great. As a base battle tank, as its base points, 125 points, I think it's probably it's got to be one of the best, cheap tanks in the entire game. Very versatile. That lightning cannon is great because it can do so much. There's a lot of heavy support, a lot of sexy heavy support in the Mechanicum army. You could also take it as a squadron. You can take up to 2 more in the same unit or squadron. Makes you vulnerable in one way, but also means firing 3 of these and it's fast, so it's scary. It'll be across the battlefield and it'll be shooting, and your opponent will think, what is happening? Why is it on top of me? And we'll start shooting on that and not the other things that are important, like your line units, like your other transports, like your Myrmidon secutors that are going to turn up and chop his head off. Again, thank you for listening. I would also like to know your comments. What do you think? So like and subscribe if you want more, and come back.